Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the Grind Entrepreneur Network Spotlight. I am Dr. Sharon, educator, author, entrepreneur, and speaker. And before we get started, as always, I would like to say thank you to our official sponsor, James Adele Custom Clothier, where you will find exquisite fabrics and custom tailoring at an affordable price. And you can find him at James Adele CC on Facebook and on Instagram. And so tonight, I'm so excited to have my guest. She is Dr. Nakita Savant of Savant Coaching. She is a certified therapeutic coach. She's an author, she's an editor, and she is a mom. She has attained degrees in psychology, women's studies, English, and then a doctorate in higher education leadership. And so without further ado, I would like to welcome my guest, Dr. Nakita Savant. Nakita, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Sharon.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to have you. We're going to talk a little further, but before we get started, I want to allow you an opportunity to share a little more of who you are and the services that you provide at Savant Coaching.
Sure, Dr. Sharon. I have been coaching for close to a year now, officially. Before that, I had coached for many years, but more in academia. The practice is based on NLP, which is neuro-linguistic processing. So we are a little more than life coach and a little different than traditional therapists. So sometimes I use a metaphor to describe what we do. Clients come in with anxiety about their career, relationships, their work, lots of different stresses. And what we do is we try to get to the root of the problem. So, there are lots of life coaches out there and therapists out there that help people manage their problems. We try to take it a step deeper, get to the root of the problem, kind of go at it from there so that they don't have to manage stress, so that the stress is lifted. So that's kind of the approach of therapeutic coaching.
Wow, that is so interesting. And so with Savant Coaching, you do you do the coaching and you also do editing, which is how I came to find you. Someone actually referred me, shout out to Dr. Nakita Savant, who referred me to you while I was working on my dissertation. Mm-hmm. And you are a dissertation editor. So talk a little bit about that, because you know that during that time, you're looking for someone credible, someone who reliable, who will get you through this process. So talk a little bit about that for us.
Sure. That's kind of where the two came together. So, I've done a lot of academic coaching over the years. I've been an associate professor and joined dissertation committees and sat on those committees and helped people succeed. And in 2011, I started editing dissertations. And what I found was some people wanted the very logical, linear edit, nice and clean. Some people also wanted to call me and say, hey, there's other things going on. I feel like maybe I'm not good in this program. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. This is taking a lot of my time away from my family. I'm not sure how to balance that. So I began to do the coaching as a result of the editing. And that kind of led me to go get a certified coaching certificate so that I guess I could be legitimate or more legitimate. And so now the coaching can be either within academics, or it can also just be people coming in who want to talk about weight loss, stress, anxiety. They want to put together outcomes and change their lives in some way. And so we work on that together. But yeah, it all started with the editing and kind of blended into academic coaching and then career coaching and finally a more holistic approach to coaching.
Okay, wow. And so with your editing services, do you do more than editing dissertations?
Yes, that started to expand as well. So I started helping people develop their all-star LinkedIn profiles. And that started with resume editing. And they wanted to present themselves in a certain way for their career to change. So if they came in and talked about what they did like about their job, what they didn't, what changes they'd want to happen, and then they'd say, well, I have this old resume. So I help people become progressive so that employers notice them. A lot of the work I do in career coaching and editing is based on a book called What Color is Your Parachute? So that's 30 years. Dr. Richard Bowles has put together career research, what works, what doesn't work, how to get noticed by employers, how to be a professional, how to do what you love. So the editing of resumes and the developing of an all-star LinkedIn really started there.
So what about book coaching? Do you edit books?
I do, and usually they're along the academic realm. I haven't done a lot of novels. I've helped somebody with a memoir, and actually I've helped somebody with a comic. So I help them publish on Kindle and work with publishers as well. And it's all different kinds of editing. You know, it's not always APA or MLA. It's not traditional styles. It can be pretty diverse. And so I can acclimate to any style that's necessary.
So does the client come to you with the type of editing that they desire, or do you make suggestions for the types of edits that you will provide?
It depends. If they know what they need, then yes, we go with that. And sometimes they provide guidelines. If they don't know what they need, I help them find it. Okay. And find out what's necessary to whether it's academic journal publishing or poetry publishing. Like I said, I've done comic book publishing.
Okay, so talk to us a little bit about your doctorate degree. It's in higher education leadership. So tell us a little bit about that and what exactly you do with that.
Mm-hmm. So that was back in 2006. I graduated with my Doctor of Education. I kind of specialized in multicultural education and social justice. And what I've done with that mostly is teaching. I was a dean for 2 years. I was a retention specialist. So basically working with students and faculty, students so that they can successfully graduate, and faculty so that they can move towards working on best practices in education, helping them learn how to motivate students, how to present material in a way that keeps everybody excited about the content, how to teach to different learning styles. And then a little bit of my degree also was about how to change organizations for the better, specifically, educational organizations at the higher ed level.
Sorry, I was on mute there. That is so exciting. What aspect of your coaching do you find most rewarding?
Probably when I see change. It's probably equally rewarding to help somebody get ready to change. And then when the change happens and they come into the office and they say, well, this has changed. This is better. This is starting to move. And when it's sustainable, that's when it's the most exciting, when it's sustainable change. And then they can work on other things in their life.
Absolutely. And so my focus here for the Grind Entrepreneur Network, first of all, our mission is to support, connect, develop, and highlight entrepreneurs. And it has a focus on the dualpreneur. So those individuals that have a 9-to-5, but also work, hustle, and grind for their own dream, their own passion. What would you say, because I think, have you done both? Have you just done this full time? Have you done both? So tell us a little bit about both aspects that you've experienced.
Sure. Yep. I've done both. So I've contracted full time as an instructional designer and also run this business on the side. And when I do that, I usually need help. And I have a couple of people on my website, their pictures and their profiles on my website that help me, my contractors, contract editor and a contract librarian. The librarian helps me get research for students, and the contract editor helps me do editing when there's only so much time in a day. So yeah, I've definitely done both and kept both going.
Okay, yeah, and that's definitely the message that I always like to send to my dualpreneurs, because it can get overwhelming, it can get hard. You're working, giving your all from 9 to 5 or whatever your hours are. And then in the evenings or early morning, if you're like me, I wake up at 3 to start that. And then I come back in the evening. So it can be overwhelming. So I really want especially my emerging entrepreneurs, dualpreneurs, to know that it's definitely doable. What are some of the tips that you can give or provide to those individuals who have to maintain that work life full time and then their grind?
A lot of planning. So as a mom, meal planning, one day that I clean, one day that I take care of laundry. And planning for myself is probably the most important so that I can stay mentally alert and on my game. So, whether it's yoga or working out every other day, I'll make that a priority and I'll fit it in anywhere. So, taking care of yourself, not sitting in front of the computer and letting 8 hours pass, getting up and breathing and walking, lots of water, all the healthy stuff for sure.
Exactly. And you work with clients all over the country, correct? And probably internationally if, you don't have a problem with that as well.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, definitely here in Canada and India, I've had clients from all over the world. I not only have the website, but I'm listed in several other places that are international. So I've coached people via Skype. I have my home office as well where people come in person. But yeah, I've coached people via Skype as well.
That is awesome. And where can individuals reach out to you for any of the services that you provide? Please share that information.
Sure. I have a website that's coachminnesota.com. So it's actually coachmn.com. And then I'm listed on Psychology Today as a therapeutic coach. And, I do some side advertising. We have neighborhood websites and Craigslist and things like that here in Minnesota. So, but probably my main website.
Okay, that's awesome. And so do you have like a busy time of year that you are like a little bombarded? Talk to us about that.
Well, surprisingly, it's holidays.
Wow.
So there's a lot of people in doctoral programs for the editing and the academic coaching piece of it. And when they have time off in summer or around holidays, they want to get their work done. That's the time they want to write. So that can be a busy time. And actually for coaching too. People prepare for seeing their families at Christmas. I have an older client from last year who came in and wanted to prepare to go down to, I can't remember if it was a place that had been devastated by not a tsunami, but a hurricane. And it was his hometown and it had been, partially destroyed, and he wanted to come in and emotionally prepare before he went there for the holidays. So holidays are a hot time. Summer is a hot time.
Summer and holidays.
People, and then, New Year's resolutions.
I can see that definitely. Oh my goodness. So tell me this then, what's your turnaround time? Because I think that's probably the number one, especially if it's a dissertation edit that you need. They want to know, how quick can I get it? What's the rule of thumb for you for a turnaround time?
It's a week or two. And that's when I get help from some of my colleagues, my contract editors. I look over all of the work, obviously, and I do most of the editing on my own, unless, somebody needs something rushed or there's a large project coming in. Yeah. So, and for coaching, I guess it would be weekly appointments. So it just depends on what's open. A lot of people want evening hours. People who work in the airlines can do day hours. So it's kind of like open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's impressive. And so really managing it all because you said you are a mom of 3, if I'm not mistaken. So really, doing a lot of the coaching and truthfully, most of the entrepreneurs, the mompreneurs, you are an expert by now at handling all that you have to handle to get it done. So definitely kudos to you for doing that. So Dr. Nakita, what would be your message to entrepreneurs, those of, especially again, my emerging, those that are just starting? You've been doing it, like you said, officially for a year. And I know that you've had some bumps in the road, things that you've had to overcome, things that you had to learn. So what message can you give to them?
I would probably say keeping yourself healthy is number one. I never sleep less than 8 hours a night, ever. That's how I stay mentally focused. I would say having a supportive network, whether that's through networking or however somebody does that on a regular basis. Not once a year, but more like once a week or once a month. And also keeping an open mind. however that works for people. You know, sometimes I go into my office and I have a big poster board, and I just start drawing and writing tons of ideas. And then I realize, oh, I could be doing advertising this way, or I could really rewrite my brand statement better by saying this, because this is one of my values. So keeping that, exploring your values and all of the avenues open all the time, not getting too tunnel vision about what you're doing, because it's easy to do, especially if you're working with a small team or alone.
Absolutely. Well, I truly, truly thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy. We had to adjust the time for me first, and then you had some things. So I appreciate you taking the time to be here on the Grind Entrepreneur Network Spotlight. I really do. So thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I want you to give your website just one more time.
Sure. It's www.coachmn.com.
Okay, there you go, guys. So if you are in need of a coach, if you're in need of any editing, please reach out to Dr. Nakita Savant. She will be glad to service you. And so I just want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in, those of you who are live, and also those of you who will watch the replay. We really appreciate it. And again, I want to thank our sponsor, James Adele Custom Clothier, where you can find him at James Adele CC on Facebook and Instagram. This is Dr. Sharon, educator, author, entrepreneur, and speaker, saying thank you, and we'll see you again on the Grind Entrepreneur Network Spotlight.